Take you to the UK now, where British Prime Minister Liz Truss insisted she would not quit as she faced questions from booing MPs yesterday. This was her first Q&A since abandoning her disastrous tax-slashing economic policies. Let's discuss the pressure that's building up around Truss. Our UK correspondent Olly Barratt joins me now for more on this. Things are already sticky for Liz Truss. She's just been in office for a couple of weeks, but we also saw those chaotic scenes in Parliament. Olly, has there been reaction to this, maybe investigations?
Yes, there's been a lot of reaction to it, and an investigation is underway being run by the Speaker's office. What is happening right now is that Graham Brady has gone into Downing Street in London. Now, he is the chair of the Conservative Party's 1922 committee, which is in charge of things like leadership challenges and leadership contests for the Conservative Party. So the reason that is very significant indeed is that he is the man that receives letters from Conservative MPs if they want to express that they don't have confidence in their leader and want a change. So if Graham Brady is in Downing Street right now, as we know that he is, that must be to have a conversation with the Prime Minister. We don't know exactly what that conversation will be about, but it could well be along the lines of telling her what he feels about the current feeling in the Conservative Party towards her and what he feels about the realities that she now faces politically. So it could well be that this is a conversation that moves things on significantly. It could also be, I should say, that even if Graham Brady does tell Liz Truss that he thinks the moment has come that she should probably consider standing aside, she could reject that and fight on. But it certainly gives us an indication of where things are moving and the fact that things could move very quickly in the coming hours.
And yesterday's resignation of Suella Braverman, did that come as a surprise?
It did. In one sense, we knew that there were disagreements bubbling up between Suella Braverman, the former Home Secretary, and Liz Truss, particularly around issues on migration. But at the same time, the actual resignation very much came as a surprise, and it's being characterised by Downing Street as a resignation that happened because of a security breach, that there was essentially a document passed on by Suella Braverman in the form of a personal email, and that she breached protocol and therefore had to go. But certainly we knew that there was some bad blood between her and the Prime Minister over various issues, and it also just fed into the idea that Liz Truss is in charge of a party that is in many ways unmanageable at the moment and divided. And Suella Braverman's resignation came with a letter which did say that she realised that she had to go, but also said she had concerns about the direction of the government. And bear in mind, it came just days after Liz Truss had to change her finance minister, Kwasi Kwarteng. So to lose two of your very top cabinet members in just weeks after taking office is not a good sign, put it that way.
Now let's talk about Grant Shapps, Olly. He starts his new job as Home Secretary soon, replacing Braverman, right? But this is just about, 6 weeks after being fired as Transport Secretary by Liz Truss. So is this politics hard at play?
He was fired by her when she came into government, and then he was fiercely critical of the mini-budget that Liz Truss and her finance minister, Kwasi Kwarteng, set out. He was even accused by some Conservative MPs of launching a coup against Liz Truss and her economic programme. So to have him now right at the top seat of government is fairly extraordinary. It demonstrates the turnaround from the Liz Truss government, but also again speaks to her lack of authority over the party, that she's having to bring people like Grant Shapps into her cabinet, sit around the table with her and try and stabilise the situation. MPs feverishly speculating now about exactly what's happening behind that closed door at number 10 with Graham Brady inside Downing Street. A lot of MPs will tell you today is the day, she's going today, there's going to be a movement against her. One of the reasons it hasn't happened yet is that Conservative MPs who do want Liz Truss to go just weeks into the job don't actually yet have an agreed plan of what to do next. They don't have an agreed candidate that they would get to replace Liz Truss, who really garners the support of the whole party. It is a divided party at the moment, the Conservatives, and if there is anything that could keep Liz Truss in the job a little bit longer, it is that disunity when it comes to Conservative MPs working out exactly what they want to come next.
Very interesting times there in the UK, Olly. Just lastly, has there been any update after that alleged attack on protesters at China's Manchester consulate?
Well, there's been a question about this in the House of Commons today from Ian Duncan-Smith, a senior Conservative MP, who wants the UK government to be much tougher in responding to this. He says that there is clear evidence that the Chinese Consul General was involved in this, what he calls attack, and he wants him and other Chinese staff members who may have been involved in what happened at the consulate in Manchester, he wants them to be thrown out of the country. The position from the UK government at the moment is that they will let the police investigate and then work out exactly whether any further diplomatic moves need to be made. We should also say that the Chinese consul and embassy here in the UK, and indeed the Chinese Foreign Ministry in Beijing, dispute the account of protesters who were there on the day, and they say that they were well within their rights to protect the consulate in Manchester.